Homework time, here we go. Lesson 12. Let's start by, as always, put your name on your homework. I'll put my name, you put yours. And you know, if a thing is worth doing, it's worth doing right. So let's jot down today's date. I'll write today, you write the actual date, where and when you are. Let's read some instructions. It tells us to estimate and then solve each problem. Model the problem with the tape diagram. Explain if your answer is reasonable. All right, so let's see what the question is. There were 3,905 more hits on the school website in January than February. February had 9,854 hits. How many hits did the school's website have during both months? So about how many hits is our first question to estimate it. Did the website have during January and February? Okay, so we have 2 months we're dealing with here. We're given February straight out. So I'm going to leave a little space here above it and write Feb for February. And then make myself a nice little tape diagram. And let's see, I'll write down the exact number inside the tape here. For February, it's 9,854. Now, notice January. Easy mistake to make here is to say January had 3,905 hits. But that is not what it says, is it? It says it has 3,905 more hits in January than in February. So now when we set up January, it's going to be the same length as February, but with that additional 3,905 hits. So that tape is going to be a bit longer. All right. In fact, you could even put a line or put a little dotted line there to show that this is, and I know what this number is. I mean, I could write February in here, but I know what it is, right? This is 9,854. And then the extra amount there for January's excess, 3,905. Okay, now what am I trying to find again? Right, the 2 months together. Okay, so I could draw a little bracket here saying, hey, I'm trying to find both these together. Let's call it H for hits. Now, but the question first is about how many? Okay, well, we can round these numbers in order to create a pretty solid estimate. So let's start with that 9,854 number. That's about equal to what? Well, 9,000s. 1,000 more would be 10,000. Midpoint is 9,500. This falls above that midpoint. It would round up to, you got it, 10,000. And let's look at our second number, the advantage that January had. It's 3,905, and that is about equal to, well, let's think. 3,000s, 1,000 more would be 4,000. Midpoint, 3,500. This rounds up to 4,000. 3,900 does. Okay. Now if we were to put the two of these together to get the total for January, you could see 10,000s and 4,000s. That's right, 14,000s. But is that our estimate? No, that's just January. So we need to say, well, the 2 months together is 14,000s for January. And then how much is February? You got it. You see that rounded off to 10,000. So our estimate for the 2 months is 24,000 hits. Okay, so there we go. Now we'll go on to B, where we find an exact, and that's where we explain if our answer is reasonable by comparing it to the estimate. Let's go on to 1B. All right, here we go on 1B and C, where we're going to find exactly how many hits the website has during January and February. Now, February we already know, but we need to calculate January. So let's write Jan for January, and we know that it's 3,905 more than February. So if we take February's, add in, yes, the more that January had, we will have a total for January. So February, we now had 9,854, and that January had how many more? Yes, 3,905. Excellent. So now we add those up to get January's exact numbers. 4 and 5 make, got it, 9. 5 and 0, 5, good. And 8 plus 9, you know that one? That's right, 17. Place the 7, regroup the 1. We see a make 10 fact. 1 and 9 are 10. 3 more are 13. Now, that's just January, right? And so we know February, so let's do Jan and February. Just put J and F. Okay, so we have that total for January now, 13,759, and we're adding to it February's total, 9,854. All right, and it's just addition, folks. 9 plus 4 is 13. We place that 3. Regroup the 1. Oh, I see 5 and 5 make 10. 1 more is 11. It's the 1. Regroup the 1. Oh, and I see a pattern here too. 1 and 7 make 8. 8 and 8 are 16. Place the 6. Regroup the 1. Another pattern here. 1 and 9 make 10. 3 more. Got it? 13. So I place the 3. Regroup the 1. 1 and 1 are, oh yeah, 2. Excellent. Don't forget your count. So the total there, so the website, let's write a little statement here, had exactly 23,613 hits in, we could just say both months. Now to answer the question, is our answer reasonable on part C, they actually tell you how to go about answering that. What you do is you compare your estimate to your exact answer, and they should be, in the same neighborhood. All right, so we'll write a sentence to explain our reasoning. So, well, what was our estimate? 24,000. Our exact is 23,613. But if you were rounding to the nearest thousand, you'd round to 24,000. So I'd say, yes, that's a reasonable answer. You'd say, my answer, don't be afraid of writing here a little bit in math. I want to explain that we know what we are doing. My answer is reasonable. And how do we know it's reasonable? Because the exact number of hits and we'll write what that number is, 23 3,613 rounded. Well, if we rounded it, what would we round it to? To the nearest 1,000, right? Because that's what we rounded to back in 1A, right? That's why. Rounded to the nearest 1,000 equals my estimate. And what was our estimate again from part A there? Of 24,000. Now, your exact answer is not always going to round off exactly to your estimate. If you're in the same range, then you could say my answer is reasonable. So even if in this case, if for whatever reason we had some different numbers and our estimate was 23,000 or 25,000, it is in the ballpark, as they say. It's a reasonable answer. All right, let's flip the page, bang, and look at number 2. And in number 2, we're going to football game. Not for real, sorry, you're doing math homework. On Sunday, wow, big game, 77,098 fans attended a New York Jets game. The same day, 3,397 more fans attended a New York Giants game than attended the Jets game. Oh, sorry, Jets. Altogether, how many fans attended the games? Okay, so first we're looking at what was the actual number of fans who attended the games. Well, we can make a nice little tape diagram here. So let's start with the Jets, shall we? So Jets, we're going to write over on the side. And then draw our tape out. Yeah, nice tape there. Okay, and we know exactly how many attended this game. It was 77,098. And again, easy mistake to make here is to say, oh, how many people attended the Giants game? 3,397, period. But it says 3,397 more. So we'll write Giants. And you see how I am lining up where my tapes start. You don't have to be like super exact about this, but you want it to be pretty good. Okay, so we know Giants is Jets plus some, 3,397 more. So let me complete the tape. And you can draw a little dotted line here. You could draw a solid line, it's fine. And so this is how much more? 3,397 more. And more than what? Well, more than the Jets. So we know the value of this part of the tape as well is 77,098. But what is it we are trying to actually find here? Yes, it's the number of fans who attended both games together, the games. Okay, so I'm going to make a nice big bracket there, and we'll use a variable of f for fans. Okay, so before we can put the two together, what do we have to figure out first? All right, how many are at the Giants game alone? Then we could put Giants and Jets together. Okay, great. And we are looking for actual here, so we are not estimating. So we're going to take exactly what we see in that tape there, the 77,098. We're at the Jets game, and the Giants had 3,397 more. And we need to put those together to find a total for the Giants. Okay, so 8 and 7. You know that one? Yep, 15. Good. You place the 5 regroup the 1. And there's 2 patterns here. Let's go with 9 and 9 are 18, if you know your doubles. And 1 more than 18 is 19. We'll place the 9, regroup the 1. 1 and 0 and 3. Got it. 4. 7 and 3, that's one of our make 10 facts. Place the 0, regroup the 1. 1 and 7 make 8. Okay, and does that make sense? Yeah, 77 and 3 are 80. Okay, this makes sense. So that's just the Giants now, so we have to put the Giants together with the Jets to get a grand total. So, Giants are 80,495, and we're adding to that the Jets 7798. Adding those together, we'll see what they equal for the grand total for both games. So 5 and 8 are, that's right, 13. Oh, here's that 1, 9, and 9 again. So we already know that's 19, don't we? We just did it. Place the 9, regroup the 1. 1, 4, and 0. That's right, 5. 0 and 7. 7. And we just did 8 and 7 as well. We remember that is 15. Okay, don't forget our comma there. So, simple statement here. 157,593. And what are they? They are fans. This is short for fanatics. Fans attended the games. If you want to be more specific, you can, but this answers the question. Beautiful. Now let's go on to part B. All right, here we on to B. Is your answer reasonable? Round each number, and they're going to tell us how to answer that question. They won't always do that, so enjoy it while you can. Round each number to the nearest thousand to find an estimate of how many fans attended the games. Okay, so let's do that. So we had, first for the Jets, we had 77,098. I bet you're getting to where you can just look at that number and tell me what it is to the nearest thousand. But to go quickly through it, 77,000s we have, 78,000s. Midpoint, 77,500. This is well below that, right? So we'd round down to 77,000. So that's our rounded Jets attendance. And we know the Giants had a bit more. They had 3,397 more, which is about equal to, well, round that to the nearest thousand. There are 3,000s. Next 1,000 more is 4,000. Midpoint, 3,500. This falls below the midpoint. We'd round down to 3,000. And when we put those together, well, we already mentioned earlier, we know it's 77 and 3, 77,000s. 3,000s make 80,000s. Now you got to remember that's just for, yes, that's just for the Giants game. And then we can add to that, let's keep this column going here, the 77,000 for the Jets game. It's our rounded amount there. And we'll go through and add, so 0, 0, 0, right? 0 and 7 are 7. And 8 and 7 we know are 15. We had just done that one recently. So 157,000 is, so estimated fans at both games. I'm just going to write estimated though. So you have to remember our actual. What was our actual? Do you remember? It was 157,593 3, that's our actual number of fans at the 2 games. So when we compare these, we can see they compare pretty well. In fact, the actual number, if you were rounding to the nearest 1,000, would round up to what? 158,000. Remember, I said it's not always going to be exactly, because if you want it exactly, then you add the actual numbers. But we can tell our estimate is, yes, reasonable. So my answer is reasonable. And how do we know that? Because my estimate and what was our estimate? Our estimate of 157,000 fans is close to the actual number gamma, which was what? 157,593. Okay, if your estimate and your actual then are close together, then that makes sense. Well, all right, now you done it. All right, hey, from the football game, we're headed to the farm. I ain't gonna work on Ted's farm no more. Last year, it reads, on Ted's farm, his 4 cows produced the following number of liters of milk. So we have Daisy produced 5,098 liters of milk. Betsy, unknown. Okay, so I guess we're going to be looking into that. Betsy. Mary produced a 9,980 liters of milk. Good job, Mary. Buttercup, 7,087 liters of milk produced. Commendable, Buttercup. So I probably guess we're going to be trying to find Betsy here. I also want to quickly mention that you see this whole liters of milk. Well, that is going to be something we'll be looking at all year, these measurements, weights, and capacity. So you picture a liter of soda. You know what a 2-liter soda bottle looks, right? So the liter is the smaller one. That's 1 liter. That's where we mostly use liter here in the States. So Betsy, now we're getting some information about her, produced 986 more liters of milk than Buttercup. Okay, so that gives us a clue on Betsy. But the question, however, is how many liters of milk did all 4 cows produce? Well, moo. All right, so let's figure out Betsy first. We know that if we take Buttercup, so let's try to find Betsy, okay? We'll just make a quick little tape diagram. Tape diagrams are quick and easy. That's one of the many things you can love about them. So Betsy is going to be Buttercup, right? And how much was she? She had 7,087 liters. And Betsy is more, though, so she's another 986 liters. Okay, so you can see quite easily that we need to put those together in order to get Betsy as a starting point. So, all right, let's see. So 7,087 liters, and we're adding to that the 986 Betsy did additionally. So 7 and 6 make, 13. Place the 3, regroup the 1. We see a pattern here, 8 and 8. We know doubles are 16. 1 more is 17. Another pattern, 1 and 9 make 10. Place the 0, regroup the 1. 1 and 7 are 8. So now we have a total for Betsy. But that is not all we were trying to find. Here, I can even write it up here in the table. 8,073. I now know Betsy. What we're trying to find, though, of course, is how many liters of milk all 4 cows produce. So now I need to take all 4 of these amounts and put them all together. Well, I'm going to use this big open space here. So, and I'm going to, you don't have to, addition's commutative. You can put the numbers in any order, but I'm going to put them in order from greatest to least. Just gives me a sense of balance, so I'm not going to fall over. I'm going to use this big space so I can write the numbers nice and big and line up the place values, because when you're doing this kind of column addition, the opportunity for error increases. So that's Mary, and then Betsy comes next, 8,073. Next came Buttercup, 7,087. And lastly, poor old Daisy. You did a good job anyway, Daisy. We still love you. 5,098 liters of milk. All right, so here we go. Woo-wee. Look for patterns. It makes it easier. Okay, well, we know 3 and 7 make 10. 8 more is going to be 18. Regroup that 1, place the 8, right? I see. It's a little bit of a stretch, but you can see it. 1 and 9 make 10. 8 and 8 are 16. 10 and 16, 26. And now adding 7 to 26. Well, here's how I honestly do it in my head. I say, well, of that 7, I need 4 more to get to 30. And then that leaves 3, so 33. But if you look at this and you get confused, you can separate this out over here and say, I'm adding 1, 8, 7, 8, and 9. And you can add them separately. You could even do something like, okay, well, so the 1 and the 9 make 10. The 8 and the 8 make 16. I'm going to stop and put those together. That's 26. And that just leaves the 7 with the 26 is 33. Okay, so I'll place the 3, regroup the 3, and getting off easy on this one. This column's a little easier. 3 and 9 are, got it, 12. Group that 1. And so I do see a pattern here. 1 and 9 are 10. And you might even see, if you know this one, 8 and 7 are 15. And 5 more is 20, plus that 10 we had is 30. Or if you want to split it out again and take a minute and do it out. So we have 10, 15, and 5, 10, 25, 30. There are different ways of thinking about it, but those numbers, sure enough, add up to 30. So now we can write a little statement. All 4 cows. What did those 4 cows do? They trampled Mrs. Ted's flower garden. No, all 4 cows produced. Good word, right? Produced 30,238 liters of milk. Okay, let's finish off this homework time with 3B. See you there. All right, here we go. Finishing things off with 3B. I told you they would stop telling you how to figure out if your answer is reasonable, but we're smart. We've learned it. So here I've copied the math we did up above. Well, we know what we need to do to find out if our answer is reasonable. We can round each of the totals for the cows, and that will give us an estimate, which should be close to our actual number. Okay, well, we can do that. First, look at 9,980. Well, it has 9 thousands. 1,000 more is 10,000. 9,500 is the midpoint. Well, this is much further above it, so it's going to be 10,000. And as I write these numbers, I write them carefully so that I can line up the place values. So because I know I'm going to be adding these, so I might as well line them all up now so I can go and add when I'm done. 8,073. I bet you can just look actually at these next three numbers and know what they are rounded to the nearest thousand, because none of them, look, they all have zeros in the hundreds place, so none of them will be more than that 500 midpoint. So they're all going to round down. See how we can start to use our smarts here to still get things correct. It's not really shortcuts, but just to use our smarts to get things correct, but even faster, more efficiently. So 8,000, 7,000, and 5,000 is what those will round to. And when we put these all together, we know we'll get 0, 0, 0. And that big cluster of zeros. I'll drop the comma now. 8 and 7, we've done this a couple times tonight. 15, 5 more make, yes, 20. Place the 0, regroup the 2. Common mistake here is to regroup a 2, but then like call it 1. But it's a 2. 2 and 1 make, got it, 30. So look, our estimate and our actual number, they are right close together. In fact, if we rounded 30,000 to the nearest 10,000 or 1,000, it would round to our estimate of 30,000. So we can simply explain now my answer is reasonable because the actual number we're talking about liters of milk here from those 4 cows, is close to my estimate. And you could certainly explain further, but I think that kind of does the job there, doesn't it? You know your answer is reasonable because your actual number is close to your estimate. In fact, we can even label this. This is the actual. And here's your estimate. All right, well, nice job. You did it. You got through lesson 12. Homework time is over. See you next time. We have some homework time.